All right, I'm gonna call the meeting to order. Can I get a motion on adopting the agenda for
I have
today?
one addition, just briefly, the 3 parks, Mayor Pearson Memorial and Cooley Beach. I just have something I wanna throw out there in each one, so if we can put that in there, that would be great,
Where do we wanna put those in, Nate?
wherever.
You wanna just cover that under other business,
Sure.
under item 6? Okay,
And Nate, we were gonna talk maybe about the trail thing.
sure.
Do you wanna talk about that next fall, or?
We can talk about it in other business, and if it needs to be an agenda item, yeah.
We
can go
might
to-
wanna wait for,
Yeah, so then we'll have more people.
Yep,
Yeah,
it'll
or
be an actual
whenever
agenda
that we get
item.
a full committee, we can talk about it.
Sounds good.
Okay.
So motion, has anybody made a motion for the agenda?
Second, I'll make a motion.
Okay,
I'll second it.
all right, motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. All right, let's look these meeting notes over. I wasn't here for this meeting, so.
I didn't notice anything in there that was,
I looked at them, I thought they were fine.
It looked mostly informational, like, it's nice that the regional park was approved.
mm-hmm.
People at Coon Lake will be very happy about that, right, Bonnie? Road repair,
Except for sliding hill.
motion to approve the parks minutes?
Second.
motion's been made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 Motion passes. Park financial information.
First page is our capital improvement plan, and in both of those funds, we haven't spent a penny yet. So we've got a couple things that are out there, that have been approved by the council that'll be coming through. They approved the paving of the part of John Anderson Trail that we've already constructed, and we've got the low quote for that. It was $58,200, so that'll come out of the park capital fund. And then we're gonna discuss the playground equipment tonight, and we have a tennis court resurfacing at Whispering Oaks yet that'll come out of here. And then I'd like to discuss a little bit later on too, maybe under other business, some stuff at Maynard Peterson Park we can talk about when Bonnie's bringing that up. So there's not much to report on the capital side. For the operational side, there again, no big surprises from our last meeting 2 months ago, so.
Is the personnel advertising, are we covering all the advertising for all the jobs?
No, it's only
Okay.
for Public Works.
Okay.
Yep.
I just wanted to verify that, because sometimes we cover things that other areas don't.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any questions on the operational budget?
It looks pretty good.
We're at 40% for the year, so we're just about halfway through the year, so we should be,
We'll just save up for that snow plowing at the end of the year, right?
yeah, hopefully. Hopefully we get a break this winter after this last one we just went through.
All right, can I get a motion to accept the,
Motion to approve the parks financials?
I'll second it.
all right, motion's been made and seconded. All in favor?
I
Aye.
Aye. Ayes have it. Next, playground equipment at Whispering Oaks Park.
Item 5.0, the 2023 capital improvement plan includes the replacement of the main playground structure at Whispering Oaks Park. Other than the planned playground equipment replacement at Coon Lake Beach Community Center in 2024, this is the oldest and last piece of playground equipment that will require replacing for many years. The structure itself is rusting and has pieces of exposed rusted metal edges where the rubberized coating has worn off. The spiral slide was replaced recently due to vandalism, and the playground manufacturer is fairly certain that the slide can be incorporated into any new build. The swing set, rope climber, and exercise equipment were also recently replaced and are not included in the scope of this project. $35,000 was budgeted for the Whispering Oaks Park in 2023 for the replacement of the playground equipment, and the resurfacing of the tennis courts. Based on previous quotes, it is anticipated that the tennis court resurfacing will cost approximately $8,000, leaving up to $27,000 for the playground and equipment replacement. Attached are the 3 playground designs that fall within our required parameters. All 3 designs were previously bid as part of the cooperative purchasing venture, and the attached pricing reflects those competitively bid costs and shipping. So that would be kind of our final costs that are included on there. And then on, I'll show you. Let's see if I can bring this up. So this is the existing piece that's there.
And the swings are off to the side, right?
Yeah, there's a new swing set, a new bridge climber, and some exercise equipment. So the slide itself here, you can zoom in pretty
It's a
good.
classic example of why we went to go with the green and the brown,
Yeah.
because.
So
it's the
originally,
new
these
slide.
were all the same color, if you
Right.
can believe that. So this piece is new, so we're gonna try and reuse that somehow. But we'll probably have to use some kind of color scheme to make it so it's not too crazy. If you zoom in here, you can see that this is the rusting that's taking place. Along all these edges is all split and rusted.
Reminds me of that swing set, or that slide we had a few years ago, that everything was all broken.
These plastic pieces are, once they get to this color, they get really brittle. A lot of times kids will come along and kick them and break them. That's kind of what happens on the other slide. The posts themselves are in okay shape. I talked to the manufacturer. There is a way we could reuse the posts, but it sounds like it's gonna cost almost as much money and be a real headache. You have to re-drill and tap all of the posts with
Well,
new
and didn't we
fittings.
find out that sometimes when you pull this stuff apart, it twists and breaks anyway?
Yeah, that's the other part of it, is we'd have to pull it out of the ground without damaging it, so it made a lot more sense to go this route and then try and reincorporate this piece. So we won't need to do any edging or any of that stuff. We'd have to probably add some more playground safety mulch when we're finished. That's not included on this, but we do that anyways on all of our parks when they get low, so we'd probably cover that with our operational budget. So then going back to the playground designs. Boy, this is hard to see on here.
You can look back there.
How do I exit that view?
Well, anybody have any thoughts?
I did a little investigation, got a little input from
The
4 different people.
The neighbor kids?
Yeah, and they weren't kids, they were like 17, 15, gal that's done a lot of stuff with parks, and I shared it with them, and they picked the one that I kinda liked as well, so my choice is number 1.
That was my choice too.
And it only has one slide, right? The number 1.
Well, we'll be able to incorporate the other slide.
Yeah, so
maybe.
otherwise we'd have 3 slides, right?
Right,
Yeah.
Talking about the number 18?
the snow globe.
Okay.
That's fine.
I wanna make it so I can zoom in here, I just gotta get it set up.
I just thought that was more interesting than number 3.
That's number 19?
This is
18.
attachment
Go up in the upper
1,
right corner?
2018.
3808.
2308.
Oh, I'm
018.
saying number 1, it was like, I thought
Yeah.
it was 1 on the attachment.
It
What's
is number
yeah,
one
it
on
is
the
number 1
attachment.
on the, it's number 1 on our
Number 1 all the way
agenda
long.
item.
So this is the one you're talking about?
I mixed them up.
The
Yeah.
double, the double slide
Yep.
Yeah,
with the climber?
and then it had the wiggle chamber.
This is the overhead view. The wiggle climber?
Yep. And then the echo chamber, which I thought kids would like that. And the trillium climber, I was trying to figure out how that worked. Because the picture's kind of small.
So this platform here would be a 5-foot platform. So then we would just build up to this, yeah, so that would work on that one. So this is a 5-foot platform here.
Mm-hmm.
So you might have to make that other slide come off this way. These bongos and talk tube, they don't get a lot of use. They're just kind of for making noise. So you could
They're for the little kids who
you could
want to yell.
reincorporate that maybe somewhere, maybe even put it on the bottom pipe of the other one. and have the swirl slide come off this way. That would work, yep.
Do you have a preference, Tim?
Not really, that one looks like it'll fit what we want it to do.
This is the second one, this is the Antelope Canyon. Has a little bit higher platforms, a little bit taller slides. I think it's a couple grand more too. I don't know where you might have to get rid of one of these slides and have that be the swirl slide.
Yep.
And the third option is a little bit.
It's pretty compact, the third option.
Yeah. That was a couple grand cheaper as well. Most of the money on this one is probably in this rock climber. These pieces are a little more expensive. And for colors, we'd probably have to look at something like, well, there's different ones. There's red, white, and blue I've seen. The slide itself is kind of a red. The handrails going up are green, like a forest green.
So it looks like Christmas?
Kind of Minnesota wild colors, yep.
Is it the same color slide though, that we have there? That orange, is this the same orange?
We can pick any colors we want on what we buy. The one that's there is red. I think they actually call it cranberry. Cranberry and forest green. So that part might be a little tricky, but I can work with the manufacturer.
Is the red fading as bad as it used to?
It's gotten a lot better. That's why in the other picture, the reds were a bad idea back then. That's why we went to a lot of these beiges and greens and stuff, so the color lasts a lot longer. Then our staff would do all the installation in-house. They've done quite a few of these, so they can do it fairly easy.
Well, and I assume that the old equipment is too damaged to donate this time around, so.
Probably. Especially if we keep that big spiral slide, there's really not a lot on there that's worth much.
Right.
Well, I like the first one and the last one, but,
1 and 3.
yep, but the last one is pretty compact. I think we've got some room to use up down there.
Yeah.
It's not
That
like
park's
we're-
got a lot of room, yeah.
It's not like we're hurting for real estate.
Yep, that's a good point.
Right, well, they built their own park, so
Like next year when we get down to the Coon Lake Beach playground, that one's limited on the size, so it's gonna have to be compact and
Right.
maybe a little bit more upright than,
Well, and that's where something like that last one would work better,
yeah, that's a good point.
you know. But we do have plenty of room there to let it occupy.
well, and there's a lot of daycares in that neighborhood.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of little kids.
Do you need a motion?
Yep.
Yeah, we'd like to get this to council and have them give it approved, and then we can get it ordered. It's probably gonna be,
Fall?
it'll be a fall install, yeah. Probably after the start of the school year, at this rate.
Maybe we'll have a couple of thousand leeway. It's only 25.
Yeah, yep. And
Alright.
the price of the tennis court resurfacing could have gone up too. We haven't got the quotes back on those yet. So it'd be nice to have a little bumper in there.
All right, can I get a motion?
Did you wanna make that, Bonnie, or do you want me to?
Well,
I'll make a motion to go with design number 1.
I'll second it.
All right, a motion's been made and seconded to go with the snow globe equipment. Any discussion? Nope.
No.
All right,
No?
ayes?
Aye.
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 Motion passes.
All in favor?
All in favor?
what
Everybody
I was waiting
agreed. All right, now we'll just do, general business. So Bonnie, you wanted to talk about a couple parks issues?
Yeah, I just have some, little bit of information, toilet at Maynard, a lot of this came up at the meeting, but the community center meeting, the toilet's been tipped over a few times.
A
down
lot.
there in Peterson, I know the residents have picked it up 2 or 3 times, they asked if we could chain it to the fence.
Yeah, we can, we're gonna talk to the manufacturer, or the company, see if it'll be okay putting a hole in it to chain it or something.
It makes me feel
It's-
really sad, but there's a lot of new kids, a lot of teenagers, and
Has it been bad, knock on wood, has it been bad recently? It was bad for a couple weeks there, and we haven't had any recently,
it just came up at the meeting.
at the last meeting.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah, that's an easy fix.
so, that was one thing. Memorial Park, we got the flowers, and the community center donated, $403. I picked up the stuff and identified it and planted it and stuff. The Memorial Park has flowers put in. There's a little bit of question about if the grounds are gonna get cleaned, and nobody seems to wanna volunteer, but I said, well, eventually we'll get it cleaned up a little bit more, cause there is interest, there's actually a exercise morning thing with treats that's going on there, so there's interest, there's just question that it's kinda scrubby.
Who's gonna maintain it?
So,
If they donate the money, do we have to do anything with that?
what?
Donate the money for the plants?
No, I already did all that.
They did that through the community center, so
Oh,
it
so
didn't
it
come,
doesn't,
to the city.
it's not like a
No.
donation.
Right.
Yeah, it was a donation from the general fund, not gambling. I got a budget, I went and did that. Got the plants with a friend, put them in, planted them, they're watered, they last year all year, and I think they'll last this year. I got a picture if you wanna see with some of the girls doing their exercises, but anyway, that's that.
So can we add that to the public works guys just going through there, and do they just?
Well, they
need it-
mow it and maintain it, but we had a bunch of branches break off this winter, and they busted up some of
Oh.
the fencing down there.
It's kind of yucky. And then there was a little trail going in the back where someone else was interested in putting in a bench for a family member.
Oh,
And it's kind of squishy now because I think a lot of the stuff just got pushed over and didn't.
from like
actually
leaves and
get
stuff?
removed.
I can check on that, I'll check on it tomorrow.
Yeah, so it's that and the fence, just to spruce her up a little bit. Since we did that, and then, Coon Lake Beach, I got, new equipment for the gang box, a little T-ball guy that I put in the large basketball court in the corner, couple bats, some balls, some bocce balls, some pickleball. Got it all at Play Again Sports. Some pickleball mats and balls and, oh, and a cornhole thing I gotta put together yet. So, that's what's happened with the 3 parks that I was part of that I wanted to share. It came to the meeting, there's a question about signs, and I said signs are always a problem, but there's a want for, possibly slow children's signs on both sides of the park since it gets used so much coming out of the community center.
We don't actually use those signs anymore,
I said that. I said, I don't think it's a happening.
yeah.
I
We
shared
follow
that.
MnDOT's, they did a study, and it didn't change driver behavior at all.
Right, and I did, yep, I did say that.
That was a big
It's not-
cost.
If there was a speed limit sign, would that help?
Pardon me?
A speed limit sign?
That's another issue that we have.
No?
I think 30 miles an hour is as low as they go. Correct me if
Oh,
I'm
I
wrong,
thought
and
that-
30 miles an hour is like.
I was gonna
way
say,
too
I've been in
fast.
places where it's been like 20, 15, or is that just
There's-
privately owned
They're
property?
posted down there for 15, but the lowest legal you can post a city street is 30. You can go down to 25 with a special council approval. We've done that on a few streets down there, but technically the lowest we can go is 30.
So I,
There's 15-mile-per-hour ones up down there, we've just left those up, but,
I already shared this with them, but I
So,
said I
yeah.
would bring it. The other question was, can we put up a sign? And I said, I don't know about that with road right away.
On your property, you probably could, but not on
it
the
would
right
need,
of way,
it would need
right?
city approval if it was in the right of way, yep.
Yeah, so if we wanted to, switching hats, wanted to put a sign up, we'd have to configure it, present it, and get approval for it.
Yep, and pay for it and maintain it.
Yeah,
The city would, yep.
okay, done.
With Maynard Peterson, they had the twins clinic down there.
Yeah, I was
Bonnie was
curious
there.
how that went.
Bill was there. A couple of the council members were there. It was a pretty good turnout. There was they had quite a few people there. The twins came and put on a good show, and that field's really coming around. They put a shed in on the site to store some of the equipment. The team's super excited about it. We're working on the fencing quotes right now. We're gonna have to decide how we wanna pay for that. Probably gonna be around 15 to 20, probably some say $20,000 for new backstop and dugout fencing and baseline fencing. Goes down about halfway.
Are there still benches there and stuff?
We
or-
just put new ones in this year. We poured new concrete slabs and benches. New bases, new home plate, new lime in there. We've repaired some of the fencing, but it's pretty beat up. So
It looks really good.
the group itself was gonna donate 4,000, they donated 4,000 this year and a couple more, like 2,000 and 2,000, I think it was on the contract. So that would help cover a pretty good chunk of that cost, but we might have to pay for it up front and then just kinda use that money to put back into the park capital plan. The other option is we could use some of the money that we have planned for Maynard Peterson Park next year and then take a look at it that way as well. So we'll have to decide how we wanna do that. We'd kinda like to have it done this summer after their season is done, would be the best time to do it,
Well, it's gonna be cheaper, cause next year, who knows?
yeah.
Oh, that was one more thing, I thought maybe you had gotten an email from somebody about the skateboard park.
Nope,
Okay, there is interest in keeping it,
okay,
and a gentleman told me he would donate some money to keep it.
does he know how much it costs for?
I told him the he said it's not safe, and he uses skateboard, and he's got kids that skateboard. And he said even if he doesn't let his kids use it, cause he said it's ratty and not safe.
Well, it's,
Who's
how many,
that?
it's like
It's-
20
it's
years
old,
old,
yeah.
yeah.
Yep, that's what we have on.
He suggested if nothing else, just taking it out, and putting a half pipe in. I know nothing about skateboards at all.
Is there room for that?
Yeah, you can
Yeah.
fit a half pipe in there.
I'm assuming since he mentioned it,
If
but I
you
wanted
take
to.
that out, there'd be plenty of room for a half pipe.
Check
there.
out the rest of it and just put it in a half pipe?
Yep.
I do know that there's somebody over here at Booster Park who's giving lessons to kids during the week,
Oh, yeah?
skateboarding.
Well, that's another thing I had, talked about tonight. We have new equipment out here for this year's budget planned. So do you wanna go ahead and try and get some quotes and at least see what it would cost for out here? I know that's been talked about in the past of whether or not it was something we wanted to put more money into, but if people are using it, I don't know, it's up to the park commission to recommend what they wanna do.
Yeah, I think that was, Mary Helen was gonna ask around too, because she didn't know if people were actually using it or not. When we were discussing the
Yeah,
sledding hill.
I don't go by there that much. I see kids on skateboards going down Lake Shore,
Mm-hmm.
but a couple that I know.
Motorized longboards and stuff,
Yeah,
they're
that
becoming
use
more
it a
popular.
lot are gone or kinda grew out of it, but because this person, it was at the Building Hoedown and he approached me and I mentioned that we're gonna have a park, probably a neighborhood meeting there and I requested him to email you or talk to you and he did say he would be willing to donate money, but that's what he told me, not what he's telling us.
Well, I'll get prices on it and I'll get a price on a half pipe and maybe just something that's comparable to what's there for our next meeting and then we can decide how we wanna go
Is that,
forward
that's
with
gonna be over
booster
at that
and,
park too though, right?
what's that?
Isn't our meeting gonna be over there?
Yeah, we're gonna try and do a meeting there
So maybe-
in
maybe
August
by-
or September.
Yeah, maybe you could tell people if they want it. to
Oh,
come-
yeah.
Come and let us know.
Yeah,
if-
no, I
Who's
already,
interested, yeah.
this is the first I've been approached about it since we got it.
Okay.
And that was years ago when we ended up getting the used stuff.
Well, and the problem with that skateboard equipment is it's so expensive.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, kids use it, but man, it just eats our budget right up.
And it's so limited, like,
Right.
it's not, it's just specific to skateboarding, so,
Yeah.
And I think, cooling, our park, our stuff is older than dirt. And
Oh, yeah, it
we
came,
wanna
Well,
shape
yeah, it
that
came
up, but I
from
don't wanna rip
Hidden
out the
Haven over
budget,
there, right?
Deer Haven.
Put a half pipe
Or
for half a
Hidden
dozen
Haven, yeah.
kids.
Yeah,
But maybe we could, if there's that much interest, maybe we, switching hats, there's might be a few people that wanna pitch in, or maybe the community center might.
just
well, if
a
we
half-
have our meeting there, then we can find out what they want. If they're more
Exactly.
interested in
Yeah, and just a
skateboarding,
half pipe isn't,
yeah, that's not much.
ridiculous. but if you put in a full-blown skate park,
It's gonna cost a lot of money, and
you could be,
we're gonna have to put fencing around it, and,
yeah. I mean, they're great. The cities that have them, the kids use the daylights out of them, but
Big investment.
it's huge.
The ones that seem to be the most popular are the ones that are made out of like a concrete or a.
yeah, they're
forms.
like a permanent fixture.
Wyoming has one that Polaris donated a bunch of money for it, and I think at the time, that was 10 years ago, it was a little over $200,000 for it.
Yeah, that would probably be closer to $500,000 today.
So, I mean, it was very nice, but.
And they had a nice donor.
Yeah,
Yeah, darn it.
Yeah,
I don't think we have everybody in
I
town big enough
don't,
to
yeah,
do
we
that.
don't quite have anybody like that.
so for this year, we have 80,000 for Booster Park skateboarding.
And that was just replacing some things.
That was what we had, basically kind of a direct replacement.
Yep.
Well, I'll get some numbers and it'll give us a better idea of what we're talking about, and, we'll go from there.
Yeah, and I don't even, 80,000 for booster. If
Yeah, that
kids are
might-
gonna use it, I don't have a problem with that.
It does get used, cause we can
And
hear,
that's-
we can hear the
Right.
skateboards all
Well,
night, so.
I see them when I go by. I mean, they're always. But, would have tried to put in a really, really nice one, I mean,
And then it just sits there.
yeah.
Well, I guess we'll find out when we have our meeting there and get the feedback from the
Yeah.
group. Because they may have a different idea that we might like.
Oh, I'm sure everybody will have an idea. Trust me.
Well, they all seem to have an opinion.
I've heard so many different ideas, I'm like, no, that ain't gonna work, that ain't gonna work, I don't think that can happen, or everybody's got their dream, but.
Gotta dream big.
You had to go for it and then compromise, right? All right, and Susan, you wanted to talk about the trail?
well, we decided we were gonna do that when more people were here.
Oh, I thought maybe you were looking for an update or something.
Which,
Yeah, the update is the John Anderson, the connection from the park over to the neighborhood. So Tim Miller and I and Jack met with the
The homeowner?
the homeowners and kind of went over what the proposed plan was there. At that time, it was right at the end of the oak growth season, and we have to take down two oak trees on there to make the trail connection. So right now, we're basically in limbo until the fall, and we can't do any work in there right now anyways. So we're moving ahead with the paving of the main trail, and we'll address that other part later, this fall sometime.
Yeah, so just put it on the agenda when we can talk about it
Yep,
then.
and then we'll invite the neighbors again and go from there.
Maybe we should just have the meeting in the park. And then because they keep saying that we're not letting them know, but we've had several meetings on it.
And we did one in the park there with
Yeah,
it,
I know.
so.
Well, and not only that, when we do talk about it, it's not like this is a brand new idea. This has been in planning for, 25 years maybe? It was back,
It was back when I started, so
It was
maybe
what the
10.
development went in the,
but it was in our,
mid-90s, so
it was
probably
in our,
30 years.
it's even in that book that we have.
Right,
you
the
know,
capital
so it's not like
07?
we just sprung it on people.
Yep, and one of the options we talked about with the homeowners was maybe like a privacy fence along there, but that could get kind of expensive too, so, yeah, we got some different options we can go over.
Okay.
But we're gonna do the other part, I think it adds, what was it? I think it was almost a mile of trail. I don't have it off the top of my head, but it's a pretty nice walking trail. And right now, with the spring, when the water was really high on, Cooper Lake, and the trail was right along the shoreline, it was pretty nice back in there.
Oh, okay.
Since we're talking about trails, can we get a couple 100 feet more?
We've got that on for this year.
Okay,
Ta-da!
The connection from 225th to
26.
2/6th. We're gonna try and do all that grading. That'll be a fall project. Right now, our staff is swamped with fixing roads.
We must have a lot of new families in there, cause it's
A lot of people walking.
a lot of people walking, and Botana's dangerous for them to be walking.
Yeah, there's
on.
nothing worse than watching a stroller get put out onto Baton.
So
Yeah.
the more we can do there, the better. I mean, I know it's probably a pipe dream to see that ever finished.
We did a lot of the brush cleanup work going down from 225th down to 222nd, so that'll help kinda get that going. We're gonna have that contracted out, though, 'cause that's gonna require a lot of dirt moving and excavation and stuff, but.
That was actually nice when you cleaned that brush up, cause now you can actually
You
pull out of
see-
225th
Yeah.
and not,
Yep.
Safety first.
oh yeah, you couldn't see 50 feet down the road.
All right, anybody else have anything?
Jim's gonna do the council update.
Yep.
And then,
Tim Miller is not here, so Jim is standing in.
Councilmember Smith.
I have one last little thing, sorry.
Don't
Yeah.
worry.
The little kids' basketball hoop, if we can just, I think the community center will buy one, if we can have it and put a sign up 10 and under, and to see, I mean, we'll take the rap for it if it gets wrecked.
Oh, yeah, let me check on that.
Yeah, it was in the minutes last time, sorry, throwing it so much at you, but.
I haven't seen a little kids one. I've only seen the full-size ones that you can raise up and down. Would that be acceptable, or?
I'm just wondering if there's something you can attach onto a pole in the corner or somewhere for little guys.
Yeah, you could probably do something like that. Okay,
It's gonna be nice, but I got some money left in my budget.
all right.
All right, Councilman Smith.
Hey, Jim Smith, East Bethel City Council. Mr. Miller had some family stuff to take care of tonight. So he created his report, and so I'm reading it for him. The new city council certainly has had its share of obstacles to overcome in the first 6 months, with the latest being the sudden resignation of Mayor Tim Harrington. Last night, after the options were laid out for council, Councilmember Kevin Lewis was nominated and unanimously voted in office as mayor by the city council, getting a nice applause from the residents and who were in the audience at last night's meeting. This leaves a seat open on the council, which should be filled in the next council meeting in approximately 2 weeks. This comes while the city is in some intense conversation with Nexus, the company who is trying to purchase and reopen Cambia Hills. All members on the council are in 100% agreement for this, that a facility of this nature is definitely needed. The question is overall impact on the residents' taxes and the school funding, and which the answers are not coming in clear and precise as council has requested. During last night's public, I believe it was it's not the forum, it's a public hearing.
It was a public hearing.
Yeah, residents both for and against made some very good points and raised their own concerns with numerous questions about funding and services. With the failure of Cambia Hills fresh on our minds of both residents and current council, the approach taken by council has to be to move with caution, doing more research, not only into the conduit bond issues, but the impact it may have on our school system and taxes long-term for our residents. This council is committed to doing the homework to try and make sure this is the right thing to do for our city, that Nexus is the right company to provide this service. We will continue to ask questions and review the business history this company has at its other locations where they operate. There were a few red flags that council identified last night and unanimously voted to table a motion to proceed with the conduit bond for another 2 weeks so that the current council can continue its review and fill in a lot of the black holes before proceeding one way or another. For the first time, numerous residents approached the council bench and shook hands with council members after the meeting last night. I believe the residents are finally seeing that. We are trying very hard to put the residents first, businesses first, and question our spending that appears to be excessive. I appreciate the effort that this committee has put in as we move forward and want to know their advisory role is very much appreciated and very much needed as we move forward. We are a team, and any ideas that could benefit our trails or parks only make the city better for all, which also happens to be our vision, to make the city better for all. Thank you. Tim Miller. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else?
Next, it's next Wednesday. Is that what it is, Jim? The meeting with, check my calendar quick. Is it next Wednesday you guys have the meeting with Viking Meadows?
Yeah.
21st, I think it is.
Yeah.
Next Wednesday, the purchaser of Viking Meadows is gonna present have a presentation to the city council on the planned development for that property. So I don't know if it's gonna be televised or not yet. It's an open meeting. I think they're gonna.
Planning Commission is also gonna be there as well.
Yeah, and might be interesting to the Park Commission to look at how they're gonna show that and what kind of, if it gets developed, what kind of park system or parks would go in there.
Especially we want to look at the biking part of it, so that we have extra wide roads or whatever.
It looked like a pretty, I saw sketches today, it was a pretty rough sketch yet, so there's a lot of stuff that can change on it, but. So that'll
Is
be
there
kind of a
a
big,
reason why they wouldn't televise it?
I don't know for sure. I'm hoping they will, but I think.
Where's it, it's gonna be here, right?
Yeah, yep. So just, we can update, it's just a presentation, there's no official business being done, so we'll, present that, whatever comes shakes out of that to
Is that going to be
the Park
like at
Commission.
7 then?
I think it's at 6:30, it's kinda
6:30?
earlier. And then I think everybody saw Quick Trip's started, the holiday gas station's coming along. Elevage is wrapping up a few of the last things on their property to get going, so.
Who's gonna be first, Quick Trip or the gas station across the street? Is that
Holiday will
Speedway
be
and
open
Holiday?
first, yep.
I wouldn't put money on that, but
They're looking at,
It looked like they were going gangbusters, and now things like,
I wanna say they were first couple weeks of August open, and then Quick Trip was the first couple weeks in November, maybe the first week in November.
Quick Trip says 115 days with a car wash.
They're having a car wash too?
Well, I'm sure they will.
No, that one does
Oh,
not,
that doesn't?
no.
Then they say 90 days.
Yeah.
The
Oh.
Quick Trip presentation that I saw was 90 days on no car wash.
They can put them up pretty quick if they need to.
Well-
They know how to do it.
Dollar General, they just bring the walls in already pre-made and dump them in place, right?
Yep. They've got quite a, Quick Trip really
That's the joys of making all your stores exactly the same.
Yeah, they got we were with the pre-construction meeting with their company and their staff, and they got everything buttoned up pretty well. Pretty well-oiled machine, and I think it's a lot of the same contractors at all their locations, so they can just say.
Oh, absolutely.
They're-
They've got their guys and.
Yep. In this area, anyways. I think they said they had 850 stores.
Wow. They're everywhere.
There's one going on, right over at Rice Lake on Old Highway 8 there, by the airport, by the golf course down there.
Oh yeah.
It's just, going up the same time as this one.
Supposed to be a third one going into Cambridge too.
Yeah, I heard that. Where are they gonna put that?
Out west of town there, right by the AR.
Oh, okay.
going
Well,
on
that makes
95.
sense.
So that's all I've got for updates.
Anything, anybody else? Motion to adjourn?
So
Pray for rain.
Yeah, well,
You gonna get out and do your rain dance for us?
yeah. We were out this weekend, the softball tournament was going on, so. It was packed. It was packed. The weather was great
That was the most teams they've ever had there.
in a long time.
Which tournament was that now?
That's the Snowcats fast pitch softball.
The Father's Day
It used to be
tournament.
the Father's
Oh,
Day week,
Okay, so
but
they
it's a
moved it
week.
to a different
They
weekend?
moved up a week, yep.
Do you think it was the weather, or
How
was
many
it
teams
just
do they have?
something else?
Was it?
Why there's so many people? Because it was
I wanna
so
say
nice,
62.
really.
It was nice, and, you know, now when they're out there, they have big canopies
When I
and
ran it, it was 40.
they're grilling, I mean, like, it's a day event now. Stereos blaring. Our dog wanted to go over, but we're like, can you stay out of the
Go
outfield?
visit.
He wants to go fetch balls.
Yeah.
I said, when they're done, you can go in the trees, fetch your balls that way. So, all right, motion to adjourn.
Oh, we didn't do that yet?
New,
Bonnie motion.
she motioned, but nobody seconded.
Oh, I'll second it then.
All right, motion's been made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. This was not our quickest meeting, but it was quick.
Here we got